Hi, I wanted to talk to you about the hidden costs in being an indie author. So, I have published a bunch of books, and I know that when you look at a spreadsheet, if you keep a spreadsheet, that's what I do, there's a lot of money that goes into it. And a lot of authors, when they start, talk about trying to make up the money as they sell their books. But what are all those costs? You think about the editor, and yeah, that is definitely a cost depending on the editor you get. And I want to remind you, don't pay for samples. You should only be paying for the editor themselves. You should be getting samples to make sure you and the editor match, that they are editing your book the way you want your book to be edited. But depending on what you're writing, you may need a sensitivity editor. My first book, my first series, one of the secondary main characters is trans. So I lucked out that my editor was also a sensitivity editor for trans characters. It is a really important thing to make sure you do, because you don't want to have a reader get offended or put off by how you wrote a character who represents them. Now, if it's something that you know a lot about, it helps, but it also helps to have, if not a sensitivity editor, other people in that group read it to make sure that they feel it represents them. And I actually did that. I had a few very emotional scenes, and I had more than just my sensitivity editor read those scenes just to make sure that what I wrote read well. Okay, so that's one of them. Another thing is copyright, especially in the US. There is a website you can go to copyright your book. Now, the thing is, by writing your book, you've copyrighted it. It is yours. You don't actually need to get the paperwork. This is controversial. I know some of you are like, that's not true. There's been more piracy. Your book will get pirated. I know, I'm sorry. However, there are some authors who are like, nope, not going to do it. I'm not spending that money. There are some authors who are like, you have to get your book copyrighted. You have 5 years after the date of publication to make that decision. You can do a mass copywriting of a bunch of your books. So that is something you have a choice of. You can do it all at once. Now, keep all your paperwork. So all of the paper where you've conceptualized your book, all the early drafts, all those early documents, just don't delete them. Emails, those, everything you have. So if somebody tries to steal your work, you can say, nope, this is mine. Here are those early documents to prove this is my work. So copyright is one of those fees. Right now, I've seen, depending on the copyright you get, $45, $65 per book. So that's what I've seen most recently for the cost of copywriting. The next is the ISBN. Do you need that? Yes and no. Yes, you absolutely need an ISBN per book, per format. So let me explain this to you. And let me explain prices. When I first went looking for ISBNs, the prices are trippy. The website that I go to, one ISBN, is $100. I know, right? 10, 300. 100, 575. I know. Weird, right? It is the weirdest thing ever. So when I first went and bought them, I had no idea what I was doing. I bought 10, which is weird because I knew I was writing a 6-book series. I knew all of those books would have at least 2 formats. So right there, I would need 12. But I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, maybe I will stop after 3 if they're not popular. I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. So do you need an ISBN? Do you need your own ISBN? So I've done my own ISBN for all of my paperbacks, all of my ebooks, half of my audiobooks, and all of my hardcover books. So that's 4 formats for some of my books. When you do audiobook on an ACX, you don't even have an option of putting in your own ISBN as far as I know. When you do ebooks, you have a choice on Amazon whether or not you put in your own ISBN. Amazon will happily give you an ISBN as well as paperback. Amazon will give you all of your ISBNs. You don't have to pay for them. So this is an interesting fee. The thing is, if you take Amazon's ISBN, you cannot put your book anywhere else. So I published my books on Amazon. My ebook is in Kindle Unlimited. By putting my book on Kindle Unlimited, I actually cannot put my book anywhere else. That's it. It is only on Kindle, only on Amazon. However, if one day I decide to take it off Kindle Unlimited, if I had taken Amazon's ISBN, I would have to then buy my own, put in my own, and I would have to change all of my documents where I have the ISBN listed. So I just said, okay, I'm going to buy my own ISBN, put it into the ebook. That way, if one day I decide to go wide, it's there. So I have another friend who all of their published books, they don't have a lot of money. They said, you know what? I am just going to publish on Amazon. I'm going to let Amazon give me all of my ISBNs. I'm not going to pay for any of it. And that's what they've done. They haven't copyrighted their books. They haven't bought any ISBNs. These are two fees that they have not paid for because to them, it's not worth it. When you buy your ISBN, they're going to say, hey, do you want a barcode? You do not want a barcode. Just FYI, no. The only reason you would want a barcode is if you have like a fancy barcode. Sometimes the barcode is incorporated into the look of the book. Amazon will put the barcode on your book. Ingram Spark will, Draft to Digital, any place will put it on your book. You don't need to actually buy the barcode. I've been banding about the word Ingram Spark. It used to cost money to put your book on Ingram Spark. It is another place like Amazon where you put your book. Libraries and a lot of bookstores will only go through Ingram Spark to get books. The reason is when you put your book on Ingram Spark, you agree to a discount. I will sell the book to the bookstore at a 55% discount, a 40% discount, a blank percent discount. You make less money, but you also get your book out there. Now Ingram Spark allows you to put your book on for free, but if you need to update files after 60 days, there is a fee. So eventually there's a fee. You also have the option of Draft to Digital, which is why Ingram Spark went free, because Draft to Digital came in as a competitor. Another thing is your cover. Now you're like, I knew my cover was a fee. Of course you did. They're expensive. But realize when you do your cover, you have your paperback, hardcover, ebook. If you decide to do a Vella, that's another cover. If you decide to do an audio, that's another cover. Just like ISBN, every cover is its own format. And so that starts to pile up on you. Another thing that I do, every year I go to Deposit Photo, and they have this deal where you can spend $80 for 100 images. I do that. I usually don't need 100 images because I don't do a lot of digital media, but this helps me if I want to make memes or send out any kind of marketing, and I will sometimes let my friends get some of these images as well because I share the wealth, and $80 a year doesn't seem like a lot. And sometimes I'll get these images with like a lot of little images. So that 80 cents instead of one image is like 12. Anyways, I will often do that. And that way I know I'm paying for the art. If you go into like Google Images, you don't have the rights to use those images and you can get into trouble. And if you're using AI, a lot of places won't allow you to use AI, and so you can get into trouble. Like on Amazon, when you upload your book, it will say, did you use AI in this? They won't deny you, but they will ask. This is one of the questions. This is something that they're going to start talking about on their pages, so people know that you're cover is AI, your book is AI, things are AI in this stuff. So this is just, and other places just won't allow it. They'll say, no, if you have AI, it's not allowed. So it's better to go to a place where you're paying for the images and you know where they're coming from. Then there's the whole, a lot of people write on Google Docs because it's free, but you might want to pay for Word that has a different editor. Some people say the grammar on Word is a little bit better. You might want like Writer Pro or one of the other applications. You might want Vellum if you want a formatting application, so you don't have to pay for a formatter. So there's all of those that you might want to do. Some of those are subscriptions, some of those are one-time fees. Then you have things like a website. You can make a website for free. I did. Absolutely free. My web address had WordPress in it. Then when I hit, it was either 100 or 200 subscribers, I had to pay. With the paying, I got WordPress out of the name of the URL. So it was kind of cool, but I did have to pay. It's not very expensive, but there is a yearly fee. So it's another fee. I joined BookFunnel. There's other things besides BookFunnel out there. That's the one I chose. What does BookFunnel do? It does a bunch of things. And it's $100 a year. Though there's 3 tiers. I chose that one because that allows for a pending, and I have one. BookFunnel allows you to send out ARCs. So it gives you certified mail, and I can set up an ARC and send it out. So advanced reader copies, if you don't know what that is. About a month before my book is going to publish, I can set up my ebook within BookFunnel. I can send out ARC copies so people can read, and then they get a link and they'll get a copy of the book. I can also send out free copies of the book if I want to send my friend a copy of the book to double check my formatting, or if I just want to let somebody have a copy of the book. BookFunnel is how you can do it. You can't send free copies from Amazon, but you can from BookFunnel. So it kind of gives you a few things. The last thing BookFunnel does is it has a lot of options for newsletter builders and things like that, where you join a month-long group or however long, and people can get your book for free or whatever you have, maybe a short story or something. And if they take your free story, they are agreeing to join your newsletter. And so you start building, this is how I started off building up my newsletter with as many people as I have now. So there are more hidden fees and people who are authors and published authors. If you want to add to the comments more hidden fees, this is pretty much the list that I have. Once you've published, other fees are like if you go to book events, you might have to pay for the table. That's not too hidden. I'm trying to get to the ones for publishing, but this is pretty much the list of what I've had to pay for to get my book from conception to people's hands. I guess one last thing I'll add is once I did hit that publish button and Amazon approved it, you can click, there's something at the bottom of publish that you can get a copy of the book to double check that it looks good, but that has a stripe on it. Author copy, blah. But you can also get author copies of books, and then you get the copy of the books at printed cost. So if the book costs $5 to print, but you're selling it for $13 or $16 or whatever, you can get it for $5 per book plus shipping. It takes 2 to 3 weeks to get to you. It takes a long time. So put that into your calculations. It isn't fast. Don't think it's the Prime where it'll get there in 2 days. It will take a long time for them to deliver it to you. That is not a high priority, those author copies, but they will get to you eventually. But it's nice that you can get them for cost. And then when you sell them, if it cost $5 to print plus shipping and you get them and you sell them for the same price that they're on Amazon, maybe a little bit, I go a little cheaper. Some people go more because they're signing it. I always go a little cheaper. You're going to make more money than the $2 or $3 that you get from Amazon, because you don't get as much because Amazon wants to get their cut. So that's another cost, is buying those author copies, which I think is a good deal. All right, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I'll see you on the next video.